Got it all going here. All right, let's do this thing. If you guys can hear me, will you let me know? That sounds like a stupid thing to have to ask to start your own podcast, but let me make sure I'm doing this right. I'm more excited than drunk, to be honest with you. I won't fake anything. Cool. All right. Well, let's do it. Okay. I went and grabbed this. It's not. There's a little bit of glare on it. It's McAllen Estate. Honestly, I would have liked to have found something just a little bit more expensive, but it's a damn great bottle of scotch. But it jumped from kind of that to like $3,200, and that's that's something I'm gonna have a hard time signing off on. But I don't know, man. That was all right. So in general, we try to do a podcast that like you can listen to in the car with your kids and stuff like that. Fuck that tonight, man. This is as excited that I am for a win. I can't even remember it. Just exceptional. So much fun. Obviously, any Miami Florida State game is going to have some absurd ups and downs, and felt like there are a couple times in the first half where you had a chance to really throw a knockout punch, but but you didn't. And damn, it's just hard to believe that transpired. So fake momentum 31, VHS Dreams 28. It was a amazing game in Tallahassee. Did it in front of not quite as large of recruiting eyes as the Notre Dame game. You're never going to replicate that, but did it in front of tons of kids. That's Bud chiming in. Disappointed he's having to go to a cocktail party or something like that. But just incredible what you did. Certainly a signature win for Mike Norvell. And Jermaine Johnson, I've got to start there, man. Jermaine Johnson with a game that will be remembered for a long damn time. I mean, I think it's a red breast. Red breast is always a fantastic option. Jermaine Johnson is the alpha, the omega, and everything in between, man. I mean, can't believe that this staff was able to go in, grab that kid. He will certainly be thought of akin to, whatever your point of reference is, the beginning of the last run that this program had, whether you want to call it Jimbo recruiting local and having a hand in getting Nigel Bradham, whether or not you want to say Jeff Luke and the influence he has, LaMarcus Joyner, it doesn't matter. Jermaine Johnson is that guy. And he don't look like he likes Miami, and I love Jermaine fucking Johnson. What a ball player. What a ball player. And a guy who made Van Dimes feel it early, often, and just a game that we will remember for a long, long time. So before I get too excited and drink too much, we'll certainly thank all of our wonderful sponsors. I literally just had a hot sauce bottle around here a second ago. I'm not sure where that went, but Louisiana hot sauce, 3 simple ingredients, 1 fantastic product, title sponsor of the Nolecast. Congruity, doing nothing but making your business better, expanding, and finding whatever optimal pairing can exist there. Matt Lewis, a great guy. The comments are killing me tonight. Matt Lewis is a fantastic guy, would be a great partner for your business. Can't say enough about Shannon. Why do I do that? Shannon and Chad got some picks from the pregame. Shannon was out there with a couple guys that have been fortunate enough to work with him, and Max over at Locked On, I think, just finalized the Metro Atlanta house, so we thank them. And man, I imagine it's a pretty damn good night to be at Madison Social 2 right now. So can't thank our partners enough. and just a hell of a game. You come out, 17-0. You find a couple things that you can continue to hit on in the run game. Who knows? We might even do a game. We might even do a pod tomorrow and look at more of the game and some of the situations that you found yourself in, some of the things that you did to attack Miami, because you were doing some interesting stuff at the beginning that I would love to see go back and look at. But Miami was certainly sloppy early, did as much as they could to help you, and you were able to get the victory. I don't even know if I've got the ability to do a game review in me. It's just remarkable, man. You come out there, you play the first half that you do. Man, I thought I was hating that decision 10 or 15 minutes ago. Oh, well, it's been longer than that, but at the end of the fourth quarter, I was really thinking back at the events that led up to halftime and thought, maybe I was wrong. Maybe at the time, I thought, look, it's 3.5 minutes left. Miami feels like they're starting to tick away, starting to pick it up a little bit on offense. I was fine with just kind of running the clock out, kicking a field goal. You get the ball back there. Who knows? Maybe you should have tried to score 7. But you did what you did. The frustrating thing is on that ever so impactful possession in the third quarter, and we won't remember it nearly as much as we would have, I promise you, the one where you have the shot play, at least for 20 yards, to Corbin there, drawn up, and you miss, and then you turn around and you run the ball on third down to protect yourself from disaster, and disaster strikes, and at that point, it felt like you were really holding on there for a period of time. I do want to say, obviously, the Douglas catch that he makes on that final drive is massive and one that we're going to remember for a while. But I thought even that responding possession, even though you didn't score out of it, the one where you got Douglas on what it was, a 3rd and 12 or something like that, I thought you had to have that third down pickup. I thought the game really was slipping away from you. Douglas picks up a third down, massive third down. I think it's either the next play or 2 plays later. You get a 15-yard face mask, and you at the very least, let your defense sit for a second. You flip the field a little bit, and I think, obviously, I'll go back and watch the game, and we'll happily go back and watch the game many times over even. But I did think that, Douglas's significant contributions weren't just the last, that massive play that he made to get you down in the fourth quarter. So, Andrew Parchment, I love it for you, man, because the effort on that play that you didn't bring in is something that a fan base would have never forgiven you for. And I don't know if there was confusion as to a audible that Jordan made. I don't know if you just didn't think the ball was coming your way, so you mentally checked out for half a second. But that would have been something that a whole lot of people, including dickheads like myself, would have remembered for a long time. But obviously the play that is made on 4th and 14, I think we've had success on that down and distance before. I'm not positive, but 4th and 14 seems good. Parchment makes a catch, gets down to the 6-inch goal line, and certainly redeems himself for a little bit of a lapse of concentration, effort, or whatever else you want to label it earlier. So, y'all, I'm just gonna have a cocktail here, answer some of y'all's questions. I don't know what Bud's schedule. Maybe we can do a pod tomorrow where we go through the game situation or the finer details of the game a little bit more. But I just want to be excited that you beat Miami. You had the effort that you did in front of all those kids. Now, I will warn you, and I'm not trying to be a pessimistic. I'm not just trying to be a downer here. But over the next 48 hours, you're going to hear that Florida State's going to sign like every kid that visited this weekend. That's not going to happen. They will do great. This was monumental for their recruiting efforts. They're not going to go and sign for, they're not going to sign like 9 out of the 11 guys that that they're looking at. Are the recruits having fun? I can most certainly assure you that the recruits are having fun. Last night, not that you would expect to get a whole lot of negative feedback, but certainly sounded like things were off to a good start last night. Today, the weather was incredible. The females at Tallahassee, both those found at Florida State and FAMU, are undefeated for, I think, 42 years in a row now, if I go back and look at the record. But it's a great time to come visit. It always has been. Always will be. Can you can you match the SEC for everything? No, but they don't have some things that Florida State does either. So you get kids to campus, and you just see where it goes. And you, Hunter in the locker room, yeah. So I did hear that Jermaine Johnson appropriately broke the rock. I think he also went out and slashed Miami's tires of their team bus as well, just to really rub it in one more time that he really was just everyone's dad tonight, and he'd do whatever the hell he wanted. But, Johnson, I started the podcast with him. I'll talk more about it. I'll probably end the podcast with Jermaine Johnson. This is a night that will be remembered for a long, long time, and certainly number 11's efforts won't be forgotten anytime soon. Yes, the cherry on top was Van Dyne's and fake momentum grounding or spiking the ball with 2 seconds left. First of all, he's lucky that there was any time left. There really shouldn't be in general. And by rule of law, when you snap it with 2 seconds left, you just ended the game. So congratulations to you, sir. I appreciate the effort and attitude that you brought to the game, Mr. Van Dyke, but you can go back to Connecticut for a summer and think about the disappointment and the decision that you made that ended the game and brought Florida State a win over a program that they desperately needed to have. And I don't want to say Miami's window is closed or whatever else like that. I will just say that Miami beat up a horrible Florida State program, a weak Florida State program. It did absolutely nothing with it. And congratulations, guys, because Florida State's back in the recruiting game, and you just helped them be back in that game an awful lot. And the road is going to be very hard for you. I had some Kane fans say that if Manny lost this game, that Miami was going to hire or fire Manny and go out on the coaching trail, try to get new staff, and labeled me very skeptical that Miami, with their micro-peen IPF and checkbook, are going to go out and compete against some of the schools that already have open positions, and very possibly the university in Gainesville that may be looking for a head coach as well. So love to see what those resources look like as Miami goes out and potentially looks for a new head coach, but label me slightly skeptical as if that is to occur. Let me just grab a couple questions. Yeah, Jermaine was ridiculous. Travis can Travis be an NFL quarterback? I don't know, man. Tonight's not the night to debate that or have me take shots at a kid. I don't see him being an NFL quarterback. I do see him being the guy that just drove down the field and won you the damn game. Be the guy who maybe was one of the few individuals in that building that thought Florida State could win and would win. And he certainly has asserted himself as, the undisputed leader of that team, and somebody that a lot of people in that locker room will look for. So, yeah, I did get the score. I called 31-28 on on Wednesday night as we were recording, and that feels pretty damn sweet right now. I won't lie. So, about the transfer offensive lineman, again, we'll touch on that probably either tomorrow or Monday. Initial feedback has been, I think, pretty decent there, but I want to talk to people, and I want to talk to people who aren't either literally or metaphorically drunk on the events that occurred tonight. What scotch did I get? I got the Macallan Estate. It's it's quite nice. It's got some nice flavor to it. Post drink, maybe not quite as peaty as I prefer, but just about anything that I put in my mouth, or just it tastes very good. Tastes very good tonight. And we'll leave it at that. Jordan Wilson, great night for him, man. I mean, obviously, a lot of the wrinkles that they were setting up with some of those quick little tosses that they were doing, and some of the screen game, they were setting up some things to come back over the middle of the field. And number 4 made some really, really significant plays. And it's nice to see, because about a month ago, I wasn't sure that kid should really take too many more snaps. And he absolutely had some really significant contributions tonight. Rough night for everybody's favorite guy who plays with a dollar bill on this on his flap there of his shoulder pads. Hopefully Brownlee can just process that, forget it. Gonna need you to wrap up a little bit more. Would have been love to have see you get your hands on one of those passes of the second half as Rambo started to assert himself. But Jarvis Brownlee will come back, continue to fight, and hopefully put that whatever the hell that was with Knighton behind him, and be all the better player for it. I thought Cooper, I've got him written down a couple times in my really scientific notes that I took throughout the course of the game. That's steeped in sarcasm. But you can obviously see a kid that's really emerging there, and gives you some optimism. They think they hit on a couple of those young kids in the secondary in particular in last year's staff, and it certainly looks like they might have, and Cooper may well be one of them. Odds on winning out, I think I'm just going to enjoy tonight right now. I mean, I think you've got a major statement victory. You don't have to lean on North Carolina for 2 years in a row when you're trying to talk to kids and try to recruit them. You can point to what you did to this team. You can point a game like this lets you go into a kid's locker room and talk about S&P Plus and stuff like that with a straight face, and not, hey, we won 3 games, but we're 16 we're 16 places better than we were last year. Oh, that's nice, Coach. Why don't you close the door on your way out? It's significant to get this. Do I think UF has quit? I think UF is worse than I could have ever thought, and I was really skeptical as to where they were at the beginning of this year. I almost need UF to keep it together a little bit more. And maybe they'll just look at those 72 points or whatever they scored today and think that that's cool, because I think you've got a legitimate chance to go down there and get a victory. But we'll talk Boston College and UF later. We're talking fake momentum 31, VHS Empire 28 tonight, and we're enjoying every second of it. Just an incredible outcome for Florida State, and I really can't wait to see what the ramifications on the recruiting trail are of something like this. Teams the last couple years didn't show the fight that this one's did, and would definitely not have won. I agree, man. I mean, I think, not only has this team constantly shown fight, they got one. They got one tonight. They can point to what the climb is all about and all the hashtags and everything else. They got their victory, and they got their, I guess, proof of concept, if you want to use that terminology. And it's great to see a group of kids that, I don't think every person's bought in, and I don't know that you ever have a locker room with 100% buy-in, but you certainly have had a massive shift in just the general composition and mental toughness and ability to not have a couple things go wrong and immediately check out. Do I think previous teams could have gone up on Miami 17-0? Yeah, I mean, we've seen that happen to a little bit of an extent. Do I think previous teams would have come back from tonight? No. I think they probably would have lost 24-41 or something like that. I think it would have been a game that ended with like 19,000 people in the stands, and 13,000 of them would have been Miami, looking like Miami fans. And but Manny was stabbed in the heart. Yeah, Manny was tougher Manny. I think I've told this story before, but when I went to the Bobby Bowden camp in 1998, and I was like a sophomore in high school or something like that. And I've been like a recruiting addict since I was 9 or 10 years old. And Manny was the GA that was in charge of a bed check. So he'd go around and like make sure you're in your room and then tape the door shut so you couldn't sneak out. And me, as a smart-ass 15-year-old, had some real concerns with Florida State's recruiting, particularly at the linebacker position. And looking back on it, I was like wildly disrespectful and out of line to to think that I had the right to ask Manny Diaz about how the linebacker recruiting was going and that it needed to step up, and wanted to confirm whether or not they were actually going to sign Kendall Pope. So that is the history that I've had with talking with Manny Diaz, and I'm sure that tonight was a very hard series of events for Manny to take, and perhaps there's going to be some kind of picture that encapsulates that. I don't know that we'll ever get one that quite the level that we saw after the UNC game, but maybe he comes out and has a moment with himself as he tries to figure out what happened tonight. Yeah, Basainth would be a massive get. I mean, try to grab some linebackers. Hopefully we get a photo of him. Yeah, exactly. You got to grab linebackers. I mean, Graham has had a better year. Like what you have there, but you got a glaring need and a decent amount of kids who hopefully have an interest in filling that need. And, hopefully you took a real positive step forward with Basainth tonight. And I don't know that the Shamar James kid is a legitimate option, but good to get the Mobile product into the building. And who knows, maybe something clicks and maybe you have a chance to aggressively close that recruitment here down the stretch. And I would love to grab at least one more linebacker would be ideal. Is the pressure off Fuller? I mean, I certainly think it helps. I said a couple weeks ago that at the time, I didn't think at that moment Fuller was going to be under pressure, that Fuller was going to be fired, but that a lot of it was based off on how these next series of games went. And I think that, Fuller has certainly helped himself. In my opinion, the entirety of the staff, with maybe the exception of one person, but I think the entirety of the staff will be back next year. And at this point, I don't know that that's going to change. I mean, maybe you go up to Boston College and get run, but I don't. I think consistency. I think continuity is at an all-time high right now, and I don't think they're going to make a whole lot of changes at this point. But again, I'm recording this an hour after one of the bigger wins that Florida State's had in a long time, and maybe I'm just, maybe I'm too much of a prisoner of the moment right now. Jimbo's down 15-0 to Oxford. I saw it was 10. I think it was 10-0 earlier, but I was running in from the liquor store and looking to try to get this set up, so I didn't look at that game all that much. Is the wide receiver the coach? I don't think so. I think Dugans is okay. Ultimately, I think everybody's okay. We'll just have to see. Yes, I did predict 31-28, and that's cool. That's lucky, but it's cool. I think I saw 5 WTFO plays this year. Norvell's a genius. Kenny and Norvell are a good partnership. I'm not going to claim that I know everything. I'm not going to claim I know much of anything that they do as far as individual game plans, but they do a good job of finding places to put pressure on a defense and kind of leverage some confusion there. And I hope we get to see the play. And it's, isn't it a hell of a lot better to look back on now after a win? I hope we get to see that play that they ran where Jordan just kind of strong-armed it or threw a little too fast there with Corbin again, because that was really well set up, had a whole lot of potential to it, and I would love to think that there's some all-22 that I could see of that again, because I'd like to know a little bit more with how they did that, or what that looked like exactly. Is Pap done with the defense or with the special teams? He might be. I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand a lot with what we're doing in punt returns, but I don't understand why there's so much. Why, like, hey, Jimmy returns this one, Johnny returns that one. Let's throw Travis J, because he hasn't been on the field. Let's throw Travis J out to return a punt. Of course. That I'm really. I don't I don't understand that. We started the night with two guys back there returning. It did look like there were a couple times where a kid was like, oh, I don't want to catch this, and then like, oh shit, coach told me to catch this damn punt. So they ran up and tried to catch it. The ball there at the end that we just inexplicably let bounce and are forever fortunate that doesn't get downed on the 6-inch line. Real glad that didn't get down. Obviously, that you would have had to go 99 yards, and I don't think that would have happened. But also, I think that stadium would have sounded a little bit more like a European soccer stadium does sometimes when fan bases get frustrated with the coaching staff about a particular issue and absolutely let them have it. That would have been a tough environment. I'll say that much. Yeah, look, Kesna loves how we beat a couple of these blue chip kids who either committed and decommitted and signed elsewhere. Hal and Knighton. Yeah, Knighton's a nice player, but he really never got going. Obviously, he had some nice moments in the fourth quarter, but never really got out in that much open space off of a designed run. Anyway, had a couple of moments, like I said, and obviously. Number 3 is going to want to forget that one play, but Knight never really developed into the monster that I thought he could. And when they did start throwing to him on some of those simple, angle routes or Texas route as the TV, or no, I think that was the radio. I had a bunch of different sources for this game, audio sources running for this game, because the TV crew is absolute hot garbage. And I know that's easy to just sit there and talk about how bad the play-by-play guy is, but play-by-play, everybody in the booth is bad. The producer's not great. They had to do the same segment twice because the producer had them run it while they were on ESPN News. And then my thought is that they probably had to run that on ESPN, actual ESPN, so they had to run similar segments back to back. That is somebody that's been in media production looks at that and says your producer didn't do a very good job of telling you guys what to do. The sideline reporter, are you fucking kidding me? The whole sideline reporters was, oh hey guys, Miami is down. I think either 14-0 or 17-0 at the time, and this sideline has not responded well. Oh, thank you, Quinn. Thank you. That is insightful stuff that you're bringing to us tonight, bud. Miami scores a touchdown. Yeah, guys, the sidelines really responded well to that touchdown, and they seem to be much more into the game. Okay, Quinn Kesnich, I need you to go play tic-tac-toe the rest of the day or whatever else. You are bringing me nothing. RG3 needs to go do something else. And whatever. Damn the commentators. Damn them. Florida State beat Miami tonight. We're not going to sit here and focus on them. So, Jordan Young, yeah, I would have loved for him to have made that one catch. I will say that Jordan Young had some really nice moments in run blocking and is... I know it's not happening fast, but I do think that you're seeing some decent development there. Also want to point out that you're seeing some nice moments from the younger defensive linemen. I think are really starting to come along. And the Cushney kid, I wouldn't write him off. That's not somebody that you signed with the idea that they were going to be a massively impactful player this year. I still think that there's some things to be developed there, and I think you're going to take a step back because you're not going to have 4, and you're not going to have the best player on the field, a guy who, I don't want to say single-handedly won you this game, but number 11, let's do something special for that kid, because that's a hell of an effort tonight. And as I said earlier, really, I think the kind of cornerstone as to this build in retrospect will be seen as Jermaine Johnson. He'll be seen as the Nigel Bradham, the Jeff Luck, the LaMarcus Joyner, whatever for you the beginning of the Jimbo build was. That's what Jermaine Johnson is to this staff and this program right now. And it's it's been a hell of a year to watch him out there and continue to develop and really be just such a transformational force for this defense right now. Guys, you got any questions? I'll do my best to address them here, and this is just a whole lot of fun. 3 sacks on the evening. Kazima, let me see. Let me try to pull up here. Let me do my best Bud Elliott and bang on this keyboard for a second and pull up some game stats. Was Marvin Jones Jr. in attendance? It certainly seemed like he was based off his own social media. I wasn't at the game. I can't tell you that I put eyes on he or his surrounding crew, but I certainly think that was a kid who made it up there, and a kid that you certainly, would have been hard for you to put a better foot forward with. I don't know that you necessarily. We'll just see. We'll have to see how that develops. But you did have a hell of an effort at recruiting him. I can tell you unofficially that the staff has been trying, like for 14 months, the staff has been constantly trying to do whatever they can to put themselves in as good a place as possible for Jones Jr. And if you don't sign that kid, you did everything in the world you could. And really, I do want to point out that when some in this fan base, and I think I've said before, justifiably so, ask, how do you preach patience and stuff like that when you were more or less ready to fire Willie after 2 years? I talk a lot about infrastructure, and infrastructure is sometimes like, oh, wink, wink, nod, nod. They got guys giving the old Tennessee fast food bags to kids, but it's not all the time. It's not most of the time. Infrastructure is having people who are constantly making calls to kids who you don't think you're necessarily the leader for right now. It's reaching out to kids. It's reaching out to secondary contacts. It's reaching out to ancillary contacts and trying to find another angle to pursue. And some of the kids that they got on campus this weekend are kids that they've been consistently pursuing for 6 months and doing all that you can to stay in the conversation, and maybe something breaks right at the end. Don't quote me on this, but the series of events that have to play out for you to sign Earl Little Jr. may well be taking place. You may luck into that. Now, again, don't say that I'm predicting that hard stop, but there's some good things going on the recruiting trail, and I think Florida State is going to continue to sign a nice grouping of high school kids, and at the same time save a decent amount of numbers for the portal. Bud and I are going to do a portal projection show here relatively soon and really break down the numbers, the thought process behind them, what you're thinking, and maybe some ideas as to what you want to do. We will talk about the 2 offensive linemen at length. I said this earlier in the show. I want to talk to people tomorrow morning about that. I'm not going to text with somebody tonight as exuberant as they may be. I I want to get a little bit better feel for that. But all accounts, there's some positive movement there. Kesna, here's the stat line. Pretty fucking good. 7 tackles, 5 solo, 3 sacks, 5 tackle for losses. Jermaine Johnson. Get him a little mural or something like that outside the locker room, because that guy earned it, that guy deserves it, and that guy was the player of the game tonight. And Jermaine, God love you, man. You have brought an air of legitimacy to this program and defense in particular that Florida State will be the bearer of good fortune for quite a while. Jordan Travis going to the locker room. Yeah, I don't know if that was the idea that they needed to. Jimbo getting outgained 400 yards to 80 in the first half. Yeah, that's toughy. I don't know if they needed to do some quick X-rays. I don't know if they needed to spray his forearm with some with the old magic spray that European soccer players occasionally get. I'm not sure what happened there. Obviously, if Jordan Travis isn't out on the field, I don't think you win that game tonight. And that was a hell of an effort. And a guy who, like I said earlier, we don't talk like this frequently, but certainly had a look in an era of confidence about him that when it was 20 to 28, may have been one of the few people in that stadium who legitimately thought Florida State was going to come back and win that game. Johnson, Keir Thomas, Jamie Robinson, great pick by Robinson earlier in the game. I want to point out that for him, and really a nice play. I thought Florida State's defense was exceptionally physical for the first 20 minutes of the game. I mean, that was a effort that that was kind of reminiscent of some of the games where you thought maybe Jimbo got the good vitamins out, so to say, and that guys came out and were really, really ready to make everybody feel them, and it was it was impressive. The first half defense was really one of the better performances that I've seen. I said in the preview game that you'd have to do something to Van Dyke to make him feel you, to give him a different look, and the defensive line did that and more, and absolutely gave you the kind of impact that was needed to throw an offense out of kilter and make a quarterback who hadn't otherwise really had to question himself. You're right, Troy. We're breaking it down macro style, dog. No YPP in this stuff. We're just talking trash and enjoying winning a game that few thought Florida State would. It's a lot of Jimbo talk in the conversation tonight. Man, we gonna let Jimbo do his thing. He's over in College Station, all the money in the damn world. If he has success, good. If he doesn't, I'm sorry. I don't hold a whole lot against Jimbo at this point. I mean, he did what he did. He also gave Florida State a air of legitimacy that it still leans on. Proved that this was not just a Bobby Bowden trick, and put together one of the better teams that college football's ever seen. So, Jimbo, you go do your thing, and I'll give you my best wishes for that. Cooper's our best DB right now. Could very well be. That's a tough statement. It's a tough thing for me to fully sign off on, but I think you may well be accurate about that. Any problems that you notice with the wide receivers getting off jams? I don't know, man. I mean, the TV angles at Doak are so limited that it's frustration. The old estate starting to hit me here. It's frustrating. You really don't get a great feel for a whole lot of what is going on, particularly, and I don't know why TV producers do this, but they start at a relatively decent scale and then continue to zoom in at a point to where you're almost, from tackle to tackle. It's maddening. I wish that you could see a whole lot more. Jamie Robinson's our best DB. Yeah. Jamie Robinson does a whole lot of things, limited to an extent, but has certainly brought in a whole lot of what for, so to say. And I like that kid's game a lot. Yeah, Dent laid a little hit, and I love, with it being 2021, that he laid a little hit, and none of us had to hold our collective breaths as to whether or not he was going to be ejected, because that's normally what happens at this point in time. Gaynor played well recently. He's certainly played in the past 2 weeks better, had 2 of his better games. There were some moments tonight where I wasn't sure, and I need to go back and look, because I wasn't initially blown away by Gaynor, but I've got to go back and look at that. To be fair, so maybe I don't, or let me say this. Obviously, you did some decent things, because as I said previously, Knighton never got off. Knighton, has again, I'm being repetitive, has the play that everybody will remember, kind of, not nearly as harshly, being the fact that you didn't lose the game. But Knighton really never got going in the running game. They never really did a whole lot in first down. The first half, and as they were switching between ESPN News and ESPN, somebody on Twitter said that they had a 7-yard first down. Maybe I missed that. But from what I saw, their best first down play of the first 20 minutes of the game was a 4-yard run. That's for an offense that wants to play tempo. Is it overly simplistic to say that if you can stop a team on first down that you can stop that style of offense? Yes, it is overly simplistic and not accurate. There's also a decent amount of truth to it. Spencer, we're friends, bro. Nice meeting you. I appreciate you being here tonight. Did Rice play tonight? That'd be news to me if he played. I didn't. I didn't see it. I mean, I was busy, screaming profanities and jumping around my living room, so perhaps there was a chance that I missed it, but I would be very surprised if Rice got out there. Odds is 6-6. Yeah, like I said, I would love to just enjoy tonight and not worry about BC and UF, but yeah, I would say your percentages there of 20 to 30% are probably pretty accurate. Did I like the field goal decision? I did at the time, and I know that it's easy for all of us to sit here and say that it was a great decision, but I did like it at the time. I thought that you were going to have to get a stop regardless, and that you needed to score, and you needed to put the ball back into, you didn't need to put the ball back into Miami's hands, but you were going to have to get a stop. You were going to have to respond either way. And I think Bud said that in his opinion, that was probably a coin flip decision. I like how Dillingham repeats a play to set up a big play. With more talent, it will be devastating. I like what Dillingham's done a lot recently. I thought he had a really nice game against Clemson. Really schemed some things up where Florida State was, laughably outmanned along the line of scrimmage, and I thought he did some really nice things tonight. Dillingham's an ambitious person. I'm sure he's going to want to go get a head coaching job at some point. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that doesn't happen in the next 4 months. But he and Norvell seem to be a really good pair and seem to share some similarities in offensive philosophy. And they are a really good. They're a really good team when it comes to trying to find some defensive weaknesses. I'm still on the fence with Fuller. Yeah, I mean, I get it. When I say not a great recruiter, I may even be speaking euphemistically. I think he's done a decent job. I certainly think there's been a change in that defense over the past 3 or 4 weeks. I think he's your defensive coordinator next year. Anyone know the secret for getting Gene's call synced up with the video? Gene was actually about 5 or 6 seconds in front of the TV for me tonight, so at the end of the game, I was just, had the sound down and was just sitting there living and dying off of the great sounds of Gene Deckeroff and bar none in the booth there. At this point, it seems like Dix needs to go or play at a different. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dix is a Florida State linebacker in this scheme. And I'm not trying to be critical of a kid, but I think that there were some concerns by the staff in general about that, and their concerns have only been confirmed. So, nice kid, built like Zeus. Maybe he has success here. Maybe he goes to another program that can use him a little bit differently, and he goes, he goes and finds a place where he can really return. Yeah, punt returns, absurd. He's built like a Greek god, though. Yeah, he's built like a Greek god. If he's slower than... Where's Bud tonight? Bud is out. I think Bud is out having a good time being Bud Elliott. I'm sure he's... He told me he was going to something. I really can't remember. I think he's going to a friend of his was having a cocktail party or something like that. What punt returner? Exactly. When does Florida State become a no-doubt bowl team? I mean, let's see what they do in the portal. I think if they have success in the portal, that you're not out of line expecting a bowl next year. We'll have to see what this class looks like, but you're going to have... I'll stay away from that comment as to what Bud's doing. We'll see what they bring in the portal. We'll see how much success they have. I do think that it is, if they are able to grab a couple of pieces that are somewhat similar to what they're losing. You're not going to grab 11. 11 is a home run and a home run and a home run again. But if you can grab some decent pieces along to help you on the defensive line, maybe grab a wide receiver or two, grab a couple of offensive linemen that you think can be significant contributors, and then you pair it with a recruiting class that I think is going to be, let's say, somewhere between 10 and 16. We'll have to see. Florida State has some real challenging matchups out of conference, as they seem to be fond of doing to themselves right now, but we'll evaluate it. But I am leaning towards a reasonable expectation of 6 or 7 wins next year. And again, that is dependent upon how they do in the transfer portal and how many of these holes that we have out there currently that get filled. 8 wins, yeah. Let's just see. Kesna, I think we need to see what they're able to bring in and get a feel for what the rest of this conference looks like before we start to quite talk about 8. But yeah, I'm there with you. I mean, Travis Hunter is a guy that helps you go out and win some of these games that you've lost this year. Does this game give you more or less confidence in Jordan running the passing game next year at a higher level? It gives me more confidence that Jordan's your quarterback. I mean, I do think that, I just mentioned about 10 minutes ago that Bud and I are going to do a portal show. I look forward to doing that. We'll have to talk about quarterback. I do think that you try to bring in a quarterback, but I think Jordan is your quarterback of the future, at least for next year. What kind of products do you and Bud use on the podcast? Maybe we'll do a video real quickly about what we do sometimes in our own individual setup or something like that. I mean, it's nothing real special. I've got a Rode speaker here. If you, we've got a great. Let's talk more about this game. I'll pull it up. Florida sucks. Yeah, Florida's in a rough spot. Yeah. I do love that Miami fans will point out to you that their IPF is 90 yards. But don't worry, guys. We've got a 30-yard field right next to that, as if that's some kind of fucking justification for having a 90-yard IPF. It really absolutely cracks me up. I also... I see football fields all the time that are 90 yards and then have a 30-yard attachment to it. That is very cute and one of the favorite things that I hear from that fan base. I agree. Their IPF talk is one of the things that really makes that fan base special. It's the largest in the state, Ram it up your ass. How much of a step back will the defensive line take? I don't know, guys. We'll just have to look. We'll have to see what they get in the portal and what they're able to do. Obviously, you ain't gonna go out and get an 11, and I feel like I'm being repetitive on that. But the dude just needs all the praise and more after a game like that. My high school in Iowa hasn't won shit, and we've got a 100-yard IPF. Exactly. Do we still win if we don't end up a yard short on 4th and 14? Do we still win if we didn't end up a yard short? I don't know. I'm not sure. A yard short of the... Okay, sorry. I probably should have figured that out. Are you saying if you score there? Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't, to be honest with you. I'm very glad they didn't. Yeah, sorry, guys. I probably should have been able to pick that up earlier. Did you hear the commenters say there were 7 natties between... Yeah, the commentary game. I'm glad that you didn't. I mean, obviously, in retrospect, it's easy to say a lot of stuff, but I'm glad you didn't score there. And that you wasted a little time. And I mean, obviously, I would have loved for you to punch it in originally, but when Jordan got stuffed on that first quarterback sneak attempt, it didn't necessarily break my heart because you only needed 8 inches or so. I was fairly confident that you were gonna be able to score, and I did not want any part of giving Miami back the ball with any amount of time for them to be able to go down and try to kick some kind of stupid ass field goal that would have. I mean, tonight, can't we agree that the field goal would have probably skimmed off a Florida State player's helmet, hit the crossbar, hit the post, bounced down, and then finally bounced in? I mean, the stupid football bounces were certainly not going Florida State's way tonight. Where would Jermaine be at UGA? I don't know. He'd probably be the second team end, and he would get snaps definitely. Yeah, I mean, the guy's going to be a top 25, we'll have to see what happens in Mobile if he goes to Mobile, and we'll certainly have to see what goes in the combine. But as far as the level of play on the field is a guy that gets drafted somewhere between 18 and 35 right now. Did I think 3 was blocked into Miami's kicker? I mean, not egregiously so. I'll put it that way. I just think 3 had a tough night. I think 3 plays hard as hell. And it just he didn't get a couple bounces tonight, right? Jesus, Brownlee. Just keep plugging away, son. That was a toughie, but he's a tough kid mentally, and he'll keep, Jarvis Brownlee ain't going anywhere, that's for sure. Hit a fan in the face, perfect, but yeah, you would see some silly stuff like that. That was me ripping my earphones out because I'm a podcast professional. All right, y'all. I mean, I think I will, we're getting down to the end here. If you got any other questions, we can talk. If we want to, make jokes about, Miami maybe getting, their VCR tapes remastered and put onto a projector or something like that, I definitely am here for that. Does Travis J hit the portal? I don't know, man. I mean, I certainly want the best for Travis J. Kid who's got a lot of talent. A guy who I think just needs to keep pushing forward, man, and just needs to work, keep working, and know that he's got all the physical ability in the world, and eventually things are going to break his way. It's been a tough year for Travis J, and I was certainly one of the many that thought he was right on the verge of breaking through and being right on the precipice of doing some really big things. What was the BS at the beginning of the fourth quarter? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there tonight. Obviously, this is not Doak Campbell Stadium, and I'm not trying to be a smartass to you. I'm just saying I was not at the game. It took place during a commercial break. I did talk to a couple of the guys in the... a couple of guys that were on the roof, and a couple of guys who I believe were on the roof because they're always on the roof, and a couple of guys that were in the press box. It sounded like a couple. It sounded like a couple dudes just kind of broke off during an otherwise tame moment and decided, they were going to have a couple words, and then before you knew it, 50 or 60 guys were out there. It wasn't. I mean, y'all remember the UF? I mean, I know, like UF between 97 and 2000. Where you legitimately thought there was going to be like a fight before or during or after the game in which somebody was going to get like stabbed, choked, or like those teams legitimately hated each other and wanted to fight and wanted to throw hands and wanted to throw balls at each other's head or throw balls at the head coach's head and stuff like that. I'm sure these teams don't like each other, but I didn't feel like a fist fight was about to break out in the middle of the field. I'll put it that way. But yeah, no, I know a couple Miami guys were out on the logo, and that's how it started. That was 1991. Yeah, there was some 91 in the. But was it Doug Johnson that threw the ball at Bowden and missed him during that? I believe that was the 98 game. Yeah, Miami's too. So I mean, neither of these teams are like legitimately full of a bunch of hard guys, right? I mean, so we'll just have to see. Yeah, it would have been a dance model. Oh, funny. All right, y'all. Florida State 31, Miami 28. This is going to be a sweet one to remember for a long, long damn time. And credit to Mike Norvell, credit to his staff, credit to all those kids who have gone through an awful lot of shit and kept plugging away, got a really significant victory. It'll be, in my opinion, really, let me use really a few more times. It'll be significantly consequential in the recruiting class. You'll get a kid or two secured from this game. You might be able to grab a kid that was on the fence. And let's be honest with it. Recruiting is an awful lot about having boosters and those that support the program buying in. And that will, not too many people that won't be encouraged by the trajectory of the program after tonight. So, like, subscribe, all that marketing horse shit that everybody tells you all the time. This was one of the more fun podcasts that we've done. So, Florida State 31, Miami 28, Florida State 31, Miami 28, Florida State 31, Miami 28. Ole do it.